think everyone is happy about this Pope except MAGA. MAGA is not terribly happy because they don't think he's as conservative as they think the Pope should be.
I don't understand why they're upset to discover that the Pope is Catholic.
Hey, the Pope.
That's a pretty accurate description, actually.
The Pope Catholic. What a Pope from Chicago means for the world of Catholicism by Stephen P. Millies. Stephen P. Millies is a professor of public theology at Catholic Theological Union in Chicago, Pope Leo's alma mater. He says a few things are plainly obvious from the selection of this Pope. First, this brisk conclave. After lunch, I like to have a brisk conclave. Signals how strong the desire among the cardinal electors was to maintain continuity with the Francis papacy. I did it. I did it right, everybody.
Good job.
I did it right. See, we discussed last week what's going to happen. Is it going to be like Francis backlash and go the other way? Or is it going to be Francis, we want to keep going in that way? Mm-hmm. And he says it was very clear that the cardinal electors wanted to maintain continuity with the Francis papacy. The cardinals have sent a strong signal that they mean to cement Francis's legacy. That was number one. Okay, it's been determined. Mm-hmm. We're not going backwards. We're going on with Pope Francis, but named Pope Leo. Then there's the name. The name last belonged to Leo XIII, who long preceded the fights over Vatican II and the culture war divisions that have plagued the Catholic Church since. But Leo XIII was also the first modern pope. He wrote about the problems of people living in the industrial age and defended the rights of workers against the greed of owners. Leo XIII gave us the first glimpses of how the Catholic Church faces the modern world. Interesting.
This is Caitlin's thing.
Caitlin, would you like to tell us why this is your thing?
It's her thing.
This is why this is your thing?
Because
the Pope facing the modern world?
Because Pope Leo XIII was like the source of a lot of Catholic social teaching.
Yeah.
Which is we did the whole getting school.
Yes, which I've already seen a few conservative commentators point out the significance of him choosing Leo as his name and saying, it's proof that he's Marxist because Pope Leo XIII wrote this really important, wrote many things, but among them was a really important encyclical, Rerum Novarum. Sky and I did a whole getting schooled about Catholic social teaching. We talked a bunch about a lot of these themes.
I should listen to these teaching. Getting schooled with.
Yeah.
Exclusively for Holy Post Plus subscribers.
Oh,
you should get on. You should subscribe to Holy Post Plus.
Can I get an account? Can you get me on the list? Mm-hmm. That would be great.
But here's what's so frustrating about being like, this is proof he's Marxist, is he's in line with Pope Francis and he's in line with Pope Leo XIII. Rerum Novarum is this really beautiful encyclical that manages to do what I wish more Christian theology did, which is to say, let's look at the underlying motivations for some of the fights that were happening at the time. Communism, socialism, capitalism, like all those conversations about economic and political systems are happening. And what he spends a lot of the encyclical doing is saying, the underlying concerns people have about not only kind of ownership or their ability to participate fully in the market or any of those things, but also deeply their concerns for a certain kind of full human life, what it means to live well in community, what it means to actually be connected to the products you create with your hands. Like he's addressing that deep human need and saying socialism, not the answer to that. Capitalism, not great either, but like we're kind of trying to figure out how to respond to these needs in a faithful Christian way. And the fact that people are looking back and being like, him choosing this name means he's a Marxist. So, if you actually go and read Rerum Novarum is an insane thing to say. To me, what it means is he is going to be a pope along the lines of Francis, but maybe in some slightly different ways, I think, but a pope who wants to deeply engage social and political questions. And if it's in line with Pope Leo XIII, that's not by taking a partisan stand on anything. It's by interrogating the underlying questions of the human condition that Christian theology has a lot to say to. And that's a beautiful way for both a church leader and a theologian to engage.
So are you saying that Pope Leo XIII was not a Marxist?
Not a Marxist. In fact, if you go read Rerum Novarum, he has got some harsh words to say for Marxist ways of thinking.
I don't want to read it. I just want to say Rerum Novarum.
I don't think that's what it is.
Over and over. Rerum Novarum.
Caitlin, and the correct pronunciation is?
Rerum Novarum.
Oh, you got it. You got it right?
Yeah, Rerum Novarum.
Okay.
And then I wave my wand and you grow hair or something happens.
Okay, I have not read Rerum Novarum, but I did read Pope John Paul II. And he was writing during the Cold War.
Which one? What was the name of his?
I don't know.
Papal
He wrote some books. I don't think they were
encyclical.
I don't think it was an encyclical. I don't remember.
Encyclical.
What was interesting
Wait, yes.
about that era during the Cold War is he was from Poland, which was obviously under Soviet control.
Yeah.
He had a lot of criticisms of communism. And I expected that. Most people expected that. But I was surprised to see him then turn his attention to the dehumanizing effects of capitalism. Like he again recognized the problem with both of these systems while being staunchly anti-communist. So it sounds like Leo XIII, and maybe we can expect this from Leo XIV, is to not throw his lot in with any particular economic or political philosophy, but to say, here's what my faith in Christ and my commitment to the teachings of the church caused me to believe about the positive and negatives of any of these systems.
But you can't start with the teachings of Christ and then look at the world. You have to start with which economic system is the one you're supposed to like, and then you look at the teachings of Christ.
Right.
Isn't that
Right.
He's already come out and said that he has concerns about the current era and the dehumanizing effects of things like artificial intelligence. So
Pope Leo XIV?
Yeah.
Is that who you're referring to?
Yes.
You said he.
Yeah.
he,
I wasn't
well,
sure
there's
who the he was.
those she
Later
popes
today-
are so common.
Later today, I'm going to yell Rerum Novarum while I'm writing on my encyclical.